Hello all, I'm Guna Mathivanan. Welcome back to Simply Current Affairs. In today's Current Affairs Hitlist series, we are going to discuss the Economic Survey, Chapter 3 and Chapter 4. In the previous video, I explained Chapter 1 and 2. Before that, I explained the basics related to Economic Survey. If you haven't watched, please watch those videos. Then continue with this third and fourth chapter. Before going into the class, if you are looking for some revision support in economy, environment, geography, we have a quick revision program where each subject in 15 hours we will be revising it quickly. It will be very effective. For more information about the program, you can visit our website www.simplycurrentaffairs.com. In the homepage, we have courses section where you will find information about the QRP as well as other courses. And for this last 1 month, as the exams are approaching, the last 1 month we have created a support system where all our courses except QRP and economic test series will be available at a discount of 50%, and the courses validity will be only for 1 month, just to help you in this last 1 month of preparation. So if you are looking for some support in current affairs or other areas, you can subscribe to those programs as well. Right. So chapter number 3, monetary management. So the objective, if you look at 2025, the year with respect to inflation, we were able to control it. In the previous chapters also we discussed, the CPI came to almost 1.7%. So the inflation is much low. So government decided to give a boost on growth. So the RBI also, through its monetary policy, one side they wanted to maintain the stable prices, another side they wanted to stimulate the growth. So they were repeatedly, continuously, they were reducing the repo rate, they were reducing the CRR. So for example, from April to December 25, the repo rate was reduced by 100 basis points. We know 100 basis points means 1%. So repo rate was reduced by 1%, and the stance was shifting from accommodative to neutral. So stance refers to a hint which the RBI gives for the market that in future whether the interest rate will increase or decrease. If RBI governor says accommodative stance, that means in future the interest rate can go down. If the RBI governor hints a neutral stance, that means in future it can either go up or it can go down. That is the interest rate. If the RBI governor uses a stance called as calibrated tightening, that means in future the interest rate will definitely go up. Now the RBI governor has chosen a stance neutral. That means in future anything can happen. But right now, if you look at the policies, in that April to December 2025, if you look at the policies, the RBI was actually going through an accommodative policy only, because they were reducing the repo rate, and even CRR was reduced by 100 basis points. That is, by reducing 1% of CRR, the banks were having an additional liquidity of close to 2.5 lakh crores. So repo rate is getting reduced, CRR is getting reduced. All these are injecting more money supply into the market to stimulate the growth. That is what we are trying to understand. The reserve money was growing at 2.9%. The broad money was going at 12.1%. And money multiplier is the ratio between M3 and M0. That is 6.21. That is, when you are putting 1 rupee in bank, that will the whole transactions created through that 1 rupee will be 6.21 times. That is called as money multiplier. So if for example, if money multiplier is 6, that means if I deposit 100 rupees in bank, that is going to create 600 rupees worth transaction. It is going to create that much multiplier effect. Okay, M0, M1, M2, M3, these refers to the monetary statistics. So these are basics, you should be knowing it. So quickly, if you want me to summarize, I can say M0 is equal to, these 4 indicators, M0, M1, M2, M3, these 4 indicators will give you the level of money supply into the economy. So M0 includes currency in circulation plus banker deposit with RBI plus other deposits with RBI. Currency in circulation means that includes currency with the public and currency with the banking system. Banker deposit with RBI, for example, CRR, reverse repo, standing deposit facility. Okay, other deposits with RBI, other international institutions, they will have account in RBI, that money. Okay, M1, that will include currency with the public plus the current deposits with the banking system plus the demand liability portions of the savings deposits with the banking system plus other deposits with RBI. Then if you take M0, that will include the entire M1 plus the time liability portion of the savings deposits with the banking system plus certificate of deposits plus other term deposits with maturity of less than 1 year. And when we take other term deposits, we should not include the NRI accounts. Okay, foreign currency non-convertible rupee account we should not consider. When I say M3, that will include the entire M2 plus you will have the other term deposits with greater than 1 year of time period. Again, here also you should exclude the FCNRB account plus the call borrowings made from the non-deposit financial companies made by the banking system. Okay, so see, I cannot explain everything because this is a hit list where I am assuming certain things that you are aware. Basics of economics you are aware. Okay, so if you are just to give you a small recap only, I am trying to explain this formula once again, but not in detail anyhow. So this reserve money is growing at 2.9%. Reserve money, this is reserve money. This is reserve money. This is broad money. This is intermediate money. This is narrow money. So this reserve money, currency in circulation plus bank deposit with RBI plus other deposit with RBI, that is getting increased by 2.9%. The broad money is getting increased by 12.1% and the money multiplier effect is 6.21%. Okay, through open market operations, RBI has injected 2.39 lakh crores into the economy. Open market operation means buying and selling of government securities by RBI. So what RBI will do? If RBI wants to increase the money supply in the economy, they will buy. If money supply has to be increased, RBI will buy the government security. If money supply has to be reduced in the economy, then RBI will be selling the government security. This is what you have to keep it in mind. In open market operation, when RBI is buying, then when RBI buys the government security from the market, then RBI has to give money, so money supply will increase. If RBI wants to reduce the money supply, then what RBI will do? They will start selling the government security. When they sell the government security, RBI will be getting the money out, it will sponge out the money from the market. When RBI buys, money supply increases, because RBI buys means RBI will give money and buy. RBI sells means RBI will get money and sell. When RBI gets the money supply in the market will come down. Okay, so to stimulate growth, money supply has to be increased. So to stimulate the growth, money supply has to be increased. And if you want to control inflation, money supply has to be reduced. So this is what we have to keep it in mind. So RBI has injected 2.39 lakh crores into the market by open market operation. There is surplus liquidity which bank is having, and banks, they declined the MSF borrowing. That means already banks are having sufficient money. Marginal standing facility is a window through which the banks will borrow money from RBI for a very, very short period to adjust their liquidity mismatch. Whenever the banks are facing some liquidity shortage, they will try to borrow from RBI at MSF for a shorter period. But the survey says there is surplus liquidity. So there is no need for MSF borrowing only, number one. Number two, banks, they have more surplus, so they are parking their excess surplus with the RBI. So what is reverse repo? The reverse repo is the rate at which RBI borrows from commercial bank, or we can say it is the rate at which commercial banks will deposit money with the RBI. Reverse repo is the rate at which commercial banks will deposit money with the RBI. Standing deposit facility and reverse repo are same. The only difference is in reverse repo, RBI has to pledge the government security and the banks will be contributing money to RBI. In standing deposit facility, without even pledging the government security, the bank can give money to RBI. So normal reverse repo, if you take the normal reverse repo, so what happens? RBI will be pledging the government security and the bank will be giving money to RBI. If it is standing deposit facility, this is not required. Without even pledging, banks will be giving kind of loan to the RBI. Okay, so that SDF parking was increasing, and asset quality. So in banking terminology, when we say asset, that refers to loans given. When I say liability, that refers to deposits received. That refers to deposits received. This is loans given, this is deposit received. When the loans given, that has to pay interest, that has to pay regular interest, that has to pay regular interest, EMI, principal interest has to be paid regularly. If it is not paid regularly, then it will be referred as non-performing asset. So the asset quality, the total NPA has reached a record low. It is very low right now. The capital adequacy is also very strong. So what is this capital adequacy ratio? CRAR. Capital adequacy ratio, or CRAR. Capital to risk weighted assets ratio. CRAR. Capital to risk weighted assets ratio. I will write the formula here. Tier 1 capital plus Tier 2 capital divided by risk weighted assets. Into 100. This is the formula. Okay, so put it simply, these Tier 1, Tier 2 capital are, you can remember it as safe capital. These are not the deposits money. So if you take a bank, if Guna is starting a bank, Guna Bank, I have to bring some money to start the bank. Depositors also will put money into my bank. I will also have to put some money into my bank. So the depositor's money is very, very important. Guna's money can be lost, but depositor's money should not be lost. So Guna's money is safe capital. There are different tiers of capital. This Tier 1, Tier 2 capital is called as safe capital, assume. This RWA refers to risky loans. Not every loan is risky. Housing loan is less risky. You give money to government, there is no risk only. You give loan to, you give personal loan, very, very high risk. So different loan will have different types of risk. What capital adequacy ratio will say is, with your safe capital, how much risk weighted assets you can manage. With your safe capital, how much risky loans you can manage. So according to RBI, every bank should maintain a capital adequacy ratio of 9%. That means of banks all risky loans, at least 9% of the loans will be taken care by safe capital. Okay. Basel norms. So Basel norms 3 was suggesting that this capital adequacy ratio should be 8%. RBI said no, 9%. But look at the current situation, the banks are having a capital adequacy ratio of average of 17.2%. That means with banks safe capital, 17.2% of the risky loans can be covered. That is the meaning. RBI says maintain 9%, but the banks are maintaining 17.2%. All these are good signs of the financial stability. With respect to number of bank accounts, the number of account ownership in 2011, almost 35% of the population was having bank account, but in 2021 it increased to 89%. One of the important reasons is Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, where there are 55 crore accounts opened under this initiative. Okay, loans were disbursed. So the survey is highlighting about the Stand Up India scheme, PM Swanidhi, Mudra Yojana. So Stand Up India scheme, which says that every bank branch should be giving a loan between 10 lakh to 1 crore rupees for at least one woman and at least one SC or ST. Okay, for greenfield projects. So this basically, the Stand Up India scheme aims to provide loan for women and SC/ST. Street vendor Atmanirbhar Nidhi. So here the street vendors will be given initial working capital. Earlier it was 10,000 rupees, it was going up to 50,000 rupees. Now the initial amount has been further increased. Okay, Mudra, Micro Units Development Refinance Agency. This agency will be providing loan for the micro small enterprises. So all these schemes has improved the lending for the underserved segments. RBI's Financial Inclusion Index. This index says that in India, according to the index score, our score is 67. That can be understood like this: 67% of the population have now access to various financial products. Okay. Then about insolvency bankruptcy code performance. Insolvency bankruptcy code was introduced in the year 2016, which aims to solve the debt problem faced by individual as well as the companies. For example, you take a situation: an individual has borrowed money from Indian Overseas Bank, unable to repay. A company has borrowed money from SBI, unable to repay. Here, the borrower might have a genuine reason of unable to repay, or the borrower could be a willful defaulter. Likewise, the company could be a genuine borrower because of some externality and uncertainty, unable to repay, or could be a willful defaulter. If they are willful defaulter, then they have to be addressed accordingly. If they are genuine borrowers unable to repay, then we need to give some support system. So the Insolvency Bankruptcy Code is providing such support system for both individuals as well as company. Okay, for individual, a debt recovery tribunal driven process is there. For company, National Company Law Tribunal driven process is there. Okay, I mean, again, if I go deep into this IBC, then that will consume a lot of time. So as I said, sometimes individuals are genuine, or the borrower. Sometimes the debtors can be genuine. Okay, when they are genuine, we have to support them accordingly. If they are willful defaulter, we have to take action accordingly. Anyhow, think about the creditors, think about the banks, think about the banks. When debtor is unable to repay, the creditors will suffer. So let us assume, let's take a situation: a company has borrowed 1,000 crores from the banks. The company is unable to repay. Now there's National Company Law Tribunal under the Insolvency Bankruptcy Code. So they are taking some efforts. Let's not go deep into that. They're taking some efforts. In this 1,000 crores, assume they are able to recover some fair value. So let me assume in this 1,000 crores, if the banks are able to recover at least 700 crores, assume that is a fair value. Still banks will face loss. Imagine Guna's Construction, they were doing business exceptionally well. COVID came, because of that their business was getting affected. Guna's Construction is unable to repay. Now because of Russia-Ukraine war or whatever war, Guna's Construction is getting affected. They are not able to repay the 1,000 crores money. So now NCLT is intervening. In this 1,000 crores, even if 700 crores is recovered, even 70% is recovered, assume that is a fair value. So here what the survey says, the creditors, the banks, they recovered at least 94% of the fair value of the resolved business. So you will fix a fair value. In that fair value, close to 94% the loan givers have recovered. That is what the survey says. All these process as per the Insolvency Bankruptcy Code has to be completed within 330 days. But however, it is taking close to 800 plus days. Okay, pre-packed resolution process was introduced exclusively for MSME. That is even before going to the NCLT, to solve the problem, the banks and the MSMEs outside the NCLT only, they have to arrive at a plan. That is called as pre-packed insolvency resolution plan. So that says that due to lack of awareness, many MSMEs are not opting that pre-packed insolvency resolution plan for resolving the problem. And similarly, NCLT, there are a lot of cases they are going to NCLT. But the number of benches, number of tribunals in NCLT is less. There is a lot of vacancy also. So because of this reason, the NCLT performance is little poor. So we have to increase the number of NCLT, tribunals. That is what economic survey is saying. When it comes to capital market, the Nifty and BSE, during this time period of April to December, we are able to see a 10% gain. And number of demat account holders, that means number of individuals participating in stock markets also increased. The number of domestic institutional investors in the Indian stock market, if you take NSE, if you take BSE, okay, Indian institutions can buy shares, foreign institutions can also buy shares. The number of domestic institutional investors participating in Indian stock market is increasing when compared to the foreign institutional investors. That is what the survey says. Gift City. So Gift City is a city in Gujarat. Gujarat International Financial Tech City. This is an international financial service center. International financial service center means this is the entire city. This entire city will have only banks, insurance companies, mutual fund companies, pension companies, insurance companies. They will be providing only financial products. Their main intention is to serve the interest of international clients. So this entire city is an international financial service center. So in this international financial service center, you will have banks, stock markets, you will have insurance company, pension fund companies, all financial product related, financial services related companies only will be there in that city. And we know for banks we have RBI regulator, for stock markets we have SEBI regulator, for insurance company we have IRDA, for pension fund companies we have PFRDA. But inside the gift city, a small city only, a planned smart city, inside that you have banks, you have insurance companies, you have mutual fund companies, you have pension fund companies, you have stock markets. Now all these institutions, their interest is to serve the needs of international clients, not domestic investors. Now, instead of having separate regulators for the financial institutions inside the gift city, we have a common regulator called as IFSCA, International Financial Service Center Authority. They will be regulating all the multiple financial service providers. Okay. So what else? Pension sector, see our number of old age population is actually increasing in India. So by 2036, it is expected that our old age population will be close to 15%. So to provide them social security, there is National Pension Scheme, there is Unified Pension Scheme, Atal Pension Yojana specifically focuses on providing insurance support to the unorganized sectors. All are contributory pension schemes only. Okay, with respect to insurance sector, the insurance density is increasing, the insurance penetration is stagnated. So what is insurance density, insurance penetration? I have discussed already in the basics video. Insurance density. Insurance density is the insurance premium divided by population. Okay, so this insurance density will roughly tell you that a per capita insurance. Okay, so the total premium divided by population. So for example, if premium is 1000 rupees, if population is 100 rupees, that means 10 rupees of insurance per person. Like per capita, we'll get an idea. Insurance penetration. It is premium divided by GDP. So this will tell the market share. What is the market share? Okay. For example, premium is 1000, GDP is 10,000. Then the market share is 10%. 10% of GDP is in the form of insurance products. It will give the market share. Okay. So in India, the insurance density is increasing. The insurance penetration is stagnant. It is not improving. Insurance density can increase either because of more people subscribing to insurance products, or the existing people subscribing to the higher insurance valued products. Both are possible. Penetration also, both are possible. With these two things, certainly we cannot say whether more number of people are subscribing to insurance or existing players are buying more insurance. Certainly we cannot say. But what insurance says is the insurance density is increasing. That means per person insurance value is increasing. At the same time, the market penetration, the premium as a percentage of GDP, where there is no significant growth and there is stagnation. So this concludes that in India, the number of, or I can say, it says that the existing in India, it is only the existing insurance payers, the existing insurance subscribers. Only they are purchasing more insurance products rather than new people buying new insurance products. Okay, so Guna is already insurance subscriber. I have bike insurance, I have car insurance. Now I am getting some health insurance. Not new person, John Ram is not coming into insurance bracket. That is what this is conveying. That is what the survey says. See, all these conclusions with certainty we cannot say that x plus y is equal to z. Like that we cannot say. Survey says that in India, insurance density is increasing, insurance penetration is stagnant, density is increasing, but the market penetration is stagnant. And the market penetration is stagnant, more people are not joining. The existing people only, they are subscribing to more insurance products. This is what the survey is highlighting. Okay, so this is about chapter number 3. I hope you got clarity on whatever we have discussed. We will move on to the chapter number 4, that is regarding the external sector. Okay, see, post Second World War, all the countries, they were coming to a conclusion that there should be fair trade. Every country should trade fairly, only then we can reconstruct the war-torn economy. But such fairness in the trade now we cannot expect. Today, the reality is geostrategic globalization. Previously, there was seamless globalization, unrestricted trade. But now, even the globalization is strategized. Friend-shoring, near-shoring. What happens? Many countries, let us take USA, instead of trading or investing in many countries, they are trying to trade and invest in friendly nations only. They are trying to invest or trade with those countries which are closer, geographically closer to them. Nearshoring means trading and investing with the countries which are geographically closer. Friendshoring means, as the name says, trading, investing only with those countries who are very, very friendly or in terms with the investing countries. That was not the case before. But today, that is what is getting the reality. So, because of this reality, the global trade might come down. That is what various international bodies are highlighting. The survey is also highlighting that. Now, coming to the India's share. So, India's share in the overall export. By 2005, India's share in the mercantile export, that is the goods export, was 1%. It has increased to 1.8%. Our total exports, that is merchandise and services, is close to $825.3 billion, which is one of the highest we have hit. Not one of the highest, it is the all-time highest. Okay, and imports also increased by 7.4%. Our imports is close to 919.9 billion. So 825 billion is our export, almost 920 billion is our import. So less than $100 billion of trade deficit we are having, export-import goods and services deficit we are having. Okay. So specifically, if you take the mercantile export, our export value is $437.7 billion. Import, it is $721.1 billion. So mercantile deficit alone is close to $283.5 billion. Now, if you take the agricultural exports, our agricultural export is growing at a rate. is growing at a compounded annual growth rate of 8.2% with almost $51.1 billion value. So if you take the global share, India is the second largest agricultural producer, but the share in the global agri export is only 2.2%, though it is increasing, but still it is less. So our target is to achieve agricultural export alone close to $100 billion. Okay. The survey also highlights our strategy by diversifying our export partners. We are consistently signing a lot of FTA between that April to December 2025 only. We signed with UK, Oman, with New Zealand, and with US, Chile, Peru. The discussions were going on, right? So all these are some achievements. With respect to service trade, our exports is close to $387.5 billion. Imports is close to $187.7 billion. We have a surplus. So whatever mercantile trade deficit we are having, almost $250+ billion of mercantile trade deficit we are having, right? That we are trying to offset to some extent by this service surplus. Okay. Balance of payments. So current account, obviously we have a deficit of 1.3%. When it comes to remittances, we are the world leader. So we are getting an inward remittance of close to $135.4 billion. It is more than the amount of FDI we receive. More than FDI, we are getting, FDI is $81 billion. But look at the remittances, it is $135.4 billion. And FDI, before that, remittances, the top contributors, once many from Gulf countries only we were getting a lot of money transfers, but now from advanced, from US is a top center of remittances to India, followed by UAE, UK. FDI, so of $81 billion of FDI which we were receiving, almost $51 billion were in the form of equity. When I say foreign direct investments, when a foreigner buys more shares, more than 10% of a shares, let's say Bill Gates, Microsoft is buying more than 10% of simply current affairs shares, that will be considered as FDI. Okay, now Bill Gates directly starting an IAS academy in India, that is also FDI. Now Bill Gates has invested in simply current affairs, and Bill Gates is giving some kind of loan to simply current affairs, that is also FDI. FDI, though it is non-debt, but when loans are given between the companies, intra-company loans, a parent company in America, subsidiary in India, then they give loan, that is also called as FDI. So for different reinvestments, now Microsoft is making some money through simply current affairs. If they reinvest in India, that is also FDI. Of all these things, the equity-based investment is the highest. Okay. So top destination with respect to FDI, services, computer software trading, non-conventional energy, construction, all these areas we are getting a lot of FDI. Then with respect to forex reserve, we have more than $700 billion of forex reserve, which we can cover our imports for almost 11 months. With this money only, in a single go, we can pay 94% of our external debt. Foreign currency, all the $701.4 billion, in which $560.5 billion is maintained in the form of foreign currency asset, dollar-based bonds like that. $117 billion in the form of gold, the balance in the form of SDR and reserve tranche. Exchange rate, yes, the rupee is depreciating, we all knew. Beyond this also we are getting depreciated. So if you want to address this, we have to improve our export competitiveness. Particularly in manufacturing, we have to add more innovation, only then our exports can be boosted. So all this effort has to be taken. Okay. Then with respect to net international investment position, very simple, net international investment position. I'll give you a simple example. You have America, you have India. Let us say India is giving $100 loan to America. America is giving $75 loan to India. That means India is this difference, this 100 minus 75, this difference is positive. For India it is positive. That means we are a net creditor. But assume India is giving $100 of loan, America is giving $125 of loan. That means the investment position is negative. That means we are a net debtor. So this is just I have taken loan. You put it like this also. India has invested $100 in America. America has invested $125 in India. Take the difference. It is not favorable to India. In the context of India, we are negative. We are having a negative international investment position of close to 0.3 trillion. So ours is negative. We are a net debtor. So we are a net debtor. Our external debt is close to 746 billion US dollars. Our debt, external debt as a percentage of GDP is close to 20.2%, which is much in a comfortable range. As I said, our debt is $746 billion. Our forex reserve is more than $700 billion. So a huge amount of our external debt in a single go also we can repay majority of the external debt. Right. So this is about the chapter number 4. So I hope you got clarity on whatever we have discussed till now. Chapter 3, chapter 4 we have discussed. Chapter 1, chapter 2 in the previous video I have discussed. I will stop here. I hope the class was useful. In the next Hitlist video, we will discuss about the chapter 5 and chapter 6. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye. Take care from Guna Mathivanan.